Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Animal Crossing's New Horizon. I'm Nye. Right now in Isle Deck Need is 3:12 p.m. on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020. Now for today's announcements. As I mentioned in yesterday's broadcast, Nook's Cranny will be closed today for renovations. The grand reopening of the new and improved Nook's Cranny will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm sure you're all as excited as I am to see how it'll look. That's all for now. Hope you all have the loveliest of lovely days. Starting a bit later today, not for any reason, just had kind of other stuff to do that kind of kept me from doing stuff here. Let's see what B has to say. Nah, you're the best. What are you up to right now? Something fun, I bet. You always have the greatest ideas, so I was thinking of you, and I guess I'm writing to ask if we can plan to do something together soon. Yours truly, B. How nice. And Flick, behold, my piece inspired by the Darner Dragonfly is at last finished. I worked tirelessly to capture its likeness for you, and I hope you enjoy it. May it bring bugs even further into your heart. Flick, the arthropod artiste. We also have a weight bench, a water cooler, a vacuum cleaner, a utility sink, and a punching bag. We are basically going to have a gym in our basement. Also, money! I just so happened to have a friend who was in a, one of the Discords. Hey, B, your letter was amazing. Try to make the most of today. Okay, well, you have fun with that. Aw, good friends. So I have a friend yesterday who got 625 bells per turnip yesterday. Was letting people in, so I was able to run over, make that happen. Ended up getting, quite literally, 2.5 million bells. So let's, go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and do this. Cheers. Finally finished paying off my very last home loan. Okay, Nook, talk to me. What's going on? Well, hello there, Nye. My goodness, you've done it. You've paid off your home renovation loan in full again. As of this moment, you're debt-free and set for life in an amazing, spacious island home. Yes, yes. I know you're just waiting for me to offer you another expansion, but we've reached the end of that. But I have something else to offer you, for free, of course. Nook Inc. guarantees our work for life and has a small token of our appreciation. We are proud to offer you a lifetime of free exterior renovations. Neat. Limit 1 per day. Terms and conditions apply. Yes, yes, I'm legally required to say that. I hope Nook Inc. can still be of service to you for years to come. And once again, congratulations. Okay. So, what's the renovation look like? So let's see. Do we have any new options? So I'm not seeing really anything new in roofing. Nothing really new in siding. So it looks like there's not really any new options because we did the basement. Which makes sense because the basement, it's not something you'd actually see. But I thought I would check. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we get free renovations. So it's good that that I was able to knock that out because Nintendo just announced yesterday. The announcement was really just before my daily update, but I hadn't seen it yet. I typically do my daily update. What's up, Savannah? I have to go buy stuff to give to you guys. I usually do my daily update actually before I check the news or other things. So there's my Darner Dragonfly model. I do have flooring. That's right, I did buy that at the other island. Yeah, I usually do my daily update before I check the news, before I see what's going on in the world. And I saw the Nintendo announced yesterday that we are getting an update tomorrow on the 23rd, so just right around the corner. That update's going to include the information for a bunch of new new holidays, which is going to be fantastic. And we're also going to be seeing, let's see, okay, so the utility sink goes here. Yeah, so that update is going to roll out. We're going to be seeing a bunch of new, holidays get support. We're going to be seeing, Red is going to make an appearance again. So we'll be seeing the, there we go. Neat. So Red's going to make an appearance again, so we will be seeing a reappearance of all of the nonsense with Red, you know, fake art and such, and then the museum is going to have an art area, which sounds ridiculously cool. I'm really excited about that. Oh man, I was hoping it would bloop. It does! That bloop is probably my favorite part about these things. Let's see. What else did I have? I had a vacuum cleaner, right? Not that. Let's go ahead and just make some adjustments real quick here. So yeah, that's going to be awesome. We're also going to be getting a new NPC. I think his name is Leaf, if I remember correctly. And his thing is all about... where did I put the cleaning supplies? Are they still upstairs? I'm going to have to regret that. But his thing is all about selling flowers and trees and shrubberies. So that's going to be a pretty awesome thing that we're going to be able to take advantage of. Ah, there it is. Not that. I kind of want the sword to just kind of remain here. Thank you. Also got a hamster cage. Not 100% sure why you'd have a hamster cage. It'd be like imprisoning your younger sister, I think. But hey, we have a hamster cage, so we can have a hamster. I think it might be a little bit untoward for the animals to have hamsters. See? Hamster cage. And there is actually a tiny little hamster in there. He's turning around. Visual representation of what it's like inside my head. So we'll get Leaf, we'll get Red, and I was looking at a couple of announcements. There were some statements that there were potential other additions that they could make to the game. Someone went data mining and found just a bunch of... Okay, that model's not bad. But they went data mining, and they found a bunch of information that is available inside the game's files about a bunch of stuff. So they had, I guess, theorized that Red would be available. Red would have to be available. So things like new expansions for Nook's Cranny and things like that might happen. So it's kind of interesting. It makes me kind of curious because generally people would, and I keep in mind, I have not been at all paying attention to online discourse. So people might be saying stuff like this, and I might just not be hearing it because I'm not paying attention. But people are generally upset about what they call unfinished games being released on the market. And generally you consider a game that has as wide a reach as Animal Crossing would be considered one of those. Animal Crossing, now I haven't verified these numbers or anything like that, but looking at some of the reports, Animal Crossing has outsold Marios and Zeldas. Like, my understanding is that, like, Animal Crossing has outsold all of the Marios and Zeldas. And generally, Marios and Zeldas are, you know, naturally the games to beat on a Nintendo console. So if Animal Crossing is outselling those, that means Animal Crossing is incredibly successful. So, you know, again, that does kind of bring in this question. And that question very much is... If we have so many... I like this one. The other two we can sell. But it just brings the question of, if it's selling that well, why are people not complaining about that? And I'm not saying that you should complain about that. A lot of content in this game. Like we've seen, I've been going for 30 days. We have passed the 30-day mark at this point of daily hour-long Animal Crossing videos. Roughly an hour long. I know some of them I went a little bit shorter than that, but we've been talking daily Animal Crossing videos. And the reason I bring up that is that if it's 30 days, it's 30 days, and some of the days I did multiple uploads, but, we're going to stick with 30 days, 1 hour long, in order to make this point. But, if we're talking 30 days of daily uploads, that means this game has provided 30 hours of entertainment so far, and that is without any of these upgrades. So the question is, when does it change from this is a incomplete game that, shipped not done, to this was a completed game that had more stuff added after the fact? Now, you can always point at older titles like, of course, Mass Effect. I think Mass Effect 3, I believe, was the one that didn't have an ending that people thought was actually complete. We can point to a lot of games that were actually incomplete. But I've heard that complaint made about games that were actually complete, that just added additional features afterwards. Red, while people would be a little bit upset, I think, if Red were not actually in the game. I know I was a little bit put off that Red was not in the game when I kind of first heard the news that there was no Red. Because Red was, in the game as far back as the original Animal Crossing, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, Red might not be in the game, but that's not a tremendous loss. It just means that we get a different type of thing. There's people who have been talking about how there are less furnitures in the game, but I've been seeing a ton of furniture. Now, I see a lot of duplicates when it comes to stuff like do-it-yourself recipes and things like that, but we have seen an absolute ton of furniture. I kind of want to go and compare the amount of furniture in Animal Crossing as of today with, that go? Yeah. I kind of want to compare the number of furniture items in Animal Crossing as of today with how much Animal Crossing, like The Sims 3, I haven't played The Sims 4, so I can't compare there, but how much furniture Animal Crossing has versus how much, The Sims 3 has in base game. I'd be very curious, because just without looking at numbers, just going off of, gut feeling, I have a feeling that the number is higher in Animal Crossing than it is in The Sims. And The Sims is all about, it's all about having a house and upgrading things like that. Sorry, I had to sneeze for a second there. Didn't want to sneeze in your ears. So I am kind of curious. And then Animal Crossing comes out with, let's be fair, it's a free update. As of late, the norm has been going on in video games, and I'm not defending this. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm just saying this is the norm. But as of late, the norm in video games has been that such updates are paid for. They're DLC. Now, depending on which game you're in, that may be justifiable. So, and I think it depends on how much is being updated. But I think that you can justify making some updates, downloadable content that you pay for, paid DLC, as opposed. So specifically, a paid DLC is what I really mean. But sometimes that you can justify having such content, like extra furniture, for example, specifically. I think you can justify as having paid downloadable content. Red and Leaf a little bit. Well, Red specifically, maybe not so much. I could justify having Leaf be, paid DLC. But then again, maybe Red too, because Red is adding, it's adding an entire new furniture type. It's adding a big bonus to the museum. And then, I have a feeling that there's going to be people who are going to hear me say that, and they're, going to say, how can you say that? These are, why should we not get these things for free? Why would this not be considered part of the base game? Rabble. And you know what? You're also right. I'm not sitting here defending the concept of paid DLC. I was playing games when paid DLC first became a thing, when people first started arguing about them. I have been here for most of the major, major blow-ups, the major controversies regarding DLC. They weren't always in games that I played, so I didn't play the new Star Wars Battlefront 2 with its paid DLC problem. Hey, we actually get to give him something today. Keep in mind, I didn't, dig it up yesterday, but I've been here for a lot of the paid DLC controversies. But depending on... Okay, we're not Dos Dego yet. Okay, I've got to go put stuff in the house because we have no room. Also, let's go talk to some animals and give them some rugs. So I've been here for most of these controversies, and I've seen both sides of the conversation, and you know what? The problem is I agree with both sides of the conversation. That's not going to be a surprise to most of you. You hear me a lot of the time talk about how I see both sides of the argument, and I agree with both sides of the argument. But it's definitely a Oh, I can't really talk to them because they're sitting. Let's give someone to Sylvana, though. But, there's a lot of games that I've seen in the past that have released with features that I feel may not necessarily have been 100% there. I think one of the examples, and I'm going to use this example on both sides of things. What's up, Bruce? Oh, you're going to share with the reaction. Okay. Bewilderment to spread a bit of mustard on whatever I'm saying. Okay. I have now learned bewilderment. Okay. I'm going to give you a thing. I do. I'm going to give you a hand-knit tank because I already have it. A hand-knit tank. Nice. It's not bad at all. You're exactly right. But there is certainly a certain amount of... sorry, the example that I would give is Civilization 6. So, I love Civ 6. I think it's a fantastic game. I think there's a ton of stuff in Civ 6. I think it has a ton of features as a base game. And I think, in general, Civ 6 did kind of everything it really needed to. Like, and again, I'm saying this as a base game. So the base game definitely seems to have all the features that I would really look for in a game of a Civilization variety. So the thing is, though, is that there was a lot of features that were missing. There wasn't a global congress. There wasn't the true diplomatic victory. And for players like me, I prefer diplomatic victory. I prefer science victory. I'm not really a big domination player. So this really kind of made it a little bit awkward for us. I'm trying to think of just random stuff. The cultural victory wasn't really... there really wasn't a cultural victory. I mean, to be fair, there really isn't. There still isn't a cultural victory. It's a tourist victory, which is a little bit different. But cultural victory wasn't there. Culture flipping didn't exist. There were a lot of these small things that did not exist in the game at time of launch that DLC has gradually added. So you sit there and you go, okay, so the question is, does this game necessarily need these things in order to be a feature-complete game? And I think it's going to depend on the game. Some games, the DLC does add additional features that... Oh, didn't want to do that. That are above and beyond what you consider to be for normal features. And in some games, the DLC is, okay, this is something that should have been in the game already. Yep, a yellow vinyl sheet. Oh, okay, got a colorful striped sweater. Appreciate it. And it's kind of hard for me to poke at, but there are a lot of games where, look, in general, and I'm gonna say this, call it a hot take. In general, I think that, very specifically, so I'm going to be very specific about the thing I'm talking about. But very specifically, I'm talking about cosmetics. So I think cosmetics in video games are always acceptable to sell as DLC. Because it's not a feature, it's not a, it doesn't change the way the game is played. Now, I say this, and I make jokes with my friends in Final Fantasy 14, that Glamour is the true final boss of the game. And I stand by that, too. Glamour, in video games, is the true final boss, looking good. But while it is the true final boss, while, I was too used to doing 90k, I'm not doing 90k anymore because it doesn't work. But while I will say that Glamour is the true final boss of, you know, of most games, looking good and things like that, it doesn't change gameplay, it doesn't add gameplay features, it doesn't make the game necessarily better, it just gives you more options. So I don't see any problem with a video game selling Glamour. I think that's absolutely fine. If you want to sell me a different skin, a different outfit, cool. Because it doesn't make... First of all, it doesn't enhance the gameplay, it doesn't give it longevity, it doesn't make the game last longer. All it does just makes me look different. That's fine. And in addition to that, I also think that it's for people who want that. Some people don't need it. I do spend some money on Glamour. I spent a fair amount of money on League of Legends, on Glamour. Colorful wheel, okay. Is this, I'm assuming this is one of the things that, oh, hello. Yoink. I'm assuming that, the colorful wheel is one of the things that, Pietro has. I'm assuming it's one of the carnival wheels. Yep. Can we turn this? Yeah. So we have a roulette wheel to give to someone. But, definitely, I guess, a hot take, to say that, Glamour is fine. But if it's actual gameplay, then it's okay. Is this something above and beyond what the base game should have, or... I'm just gonna give this to you. I know you already have one, but that is a colorful wheel. Cool. So what are you gonna give me? A business suit coat. Do I already have that? It's a suit coat, not a business... Yeah, I already have that in other colors. Okay, cool. Well, we can give that to someone. So on the other hand, if it is DLC that is adding in a feature that I guess would be part of the base game, that you would consider to be part of what makes the game itself, then, it should be something that was included. So, for example, if Pokemon, for example, made it so that catching Pokemon was DLC, that would be ridiculous, right? That is a inherent part of the base game. Whereas I think that extra Pokemon, not so much. Extra regions, not so much, which is why I'm not upset about the DLC that we're going to be getting for Pokemon, because I feel that's adding to an already established and already good game. Adding, I've seen games that have tried to add, like, an ending to the game. Oh, crap. I've seen games that tried to add an ending to the game as DLC that you pay for, and it's like, no, this should have been part of the game. An ending is part of the original, game. You already have an Anthrene plant. So I think it kind of depends on the game. But that's also paid DLC is what we're really talking about. Free DLC is something completely different. When a game is going to put out updates that add more and more content that you are not paying for, that is all that you're not paying extra for, I think is the way to phrase that. But I think that's always awesome. That is a fantastic thing for video game developers to do. And I wish more video game developers did it. Now, having said all of this, and having said a bunch of words about how, in a lot of situations, video game developers should not be charging us for content, what we also have to understand is that, god damn it, really? what we also have to understand, and we have to be, we have to be cognizant of this fact, and I think this is an important thing to think about, is that video game developers do not work for free. Like, they are actively in a business. They are making a product. The product does need to make money. And while, yes, I am saying that, content that is for a video game that is not, stuff that should be in the video game as a base game, if it's not in the base game, then you didn't give us a full product. And that is, so that's the argument there. And if you didn't give us a full product, well, shame on you. Don't charge us to get the full product. That being said, if you are releasing what is effectively an aftermarket add-on, then it is completely understandable that you are trying to charge me for it. And I think that's kind of the difference. If your car does not have seatbelts, you should not be charging me for seatbelts as an after fact. But if your car has seatbelts and you're trying to sell me snazzier ones, that's completely acceptable. If it is if your car, runs off of gasoline and you later on, develop hydrogen fuel cells that you can replace my gasoline with, I think depending on, was a hydrogen fuel cell something I should have expected out of the base model? If yes, you shouldn't be charging me for it. What do you think are cooler, biceps or triceps? How can I pick? Wait a second, Boone, did you just say ook? Ook? Yeah, I'm always saying that. I even named my left biceps ook. Oh, well, that makes it easy. Any muscle named ook is automatically cooler. Biceps it is. You wouldn't happen to be selling the ook trademark by any chance, would you? I've been looking for a name for my upcoming line of fragrances, and ook is perfect. But I really like ook. Can my left biceps and your smells both be called ook? How's this? I'll take the exclusive rights to ook, but license it out to you for your biceps. You call your biceps ook all you like, but you pay me royalties when you flex. Deal. Wow. Damn it. Boone, I wanted to talk to you. Yeah, I think it just depends on the content. And when it comes to the content Animal Crossing's putting out, I think this is an amazing thing. Yeah, it wasn't in the base game, but we're also talking about content that was being kind of added after the fact. It might have been a little bit of an afterthought, honestly. Or it may have been something like they couldn't get it out in time, so they're like, okay, we'll ship the game as is, and we'll add this later. And what I'm really hopeful for is that this is going to be a sign of things to come. There are a lot of fantastic games. I think Terraria is a great example of this. There's a lot of fantastic games that shipped as absolutely feature complete. Or at least the game is, at its base, the game is, has kind of everything we'd expect and is fantastic. And then continually added more stuff. Yes, it was free, but it was also convincing people to buy the game more and more and more. And I think that's I need wood for that, okay. And I think that's a fantastic thing for games to do if they can do it. So I'm kind of hopeful at this point that that's what we're going to see out of Animal Crossing, in that they're not going to do paid DLC, they're going to do free DLC, but this free DLC that they're going to work on is going to end up being things that bring people to the game. I mean, we already know this game is selling like hotcakes. Like, people are all over this game. They are, they're enjoying it. They're playing a ton of it. People are buying this game left and right. So I think if that convinces them, hey, do more free DLC. Is it hardwood? It's hardwood. Okay. If that convinces them to do more DLC, I think it's going to be a great thing. And honestly, I think there's not this big impetus to say, okay, they did not ship a feature complete game. Again, 30 hours is a lot of time to put into a game. Now, I've said in the past, however, that I consider a game to be good if you get an hour of gameplay for every dollar you put into it. So considering that Animal Crossing was a $60 game, you can all say that it hasn't quite gotten that much value out of it for me yet. But on the flip side, having said that, I'm also not done with Animal Crossing. Even if we talk about the fact that I fully upgraded my house is fully paid off, we haven't caught all the bugs. I haven't, there's events that were already in the game that I haven't done. I haven't gotten all of the stuff. There is stuff that I can still get in this game. And I'm also, keep in mind, I'm one of the more, collectathon type of people. But I'm also playing fairly quickly and fairly efficiently. Like, every time you guys see me, when I'm on screen, when I'm talking to you guys, and keep in mind, I've also played a ton offline. You guys, there's been a ton I've done that you guys haven't seen. I wasn't recording for those, so you can probably add an extra 15 hours to my gameplay time, so maybe 45 hours. But I've also been doing a lot of stuff. I've been customizing the island. I've been catching bugs. Like, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of it I've been doing reasonably efficiently. So I've been making money really quickly. I've been playing the stock market, and I hit it big at least twice. Like, we did very well there. So these are also things that we can sit here and go, well, these also are worth a lot of money. So just at the end of the day, we're potentially getting a lot more than we paid for, and a lot of the stuff that we're getting is potentially above and beyond what we originally paid for, and also beyond what we would consider to be, or at least what I would consider to be, a feature-complete game. I think Animal Crossing had, at launch, pretty much everything that it needed to be a good and successful title. It had a lot of great stuff. God, all my tools are just being broken one after the other, and I had already left the house. Like, seriously, guys. But, I think, sitting and looking at Animal Crossing and going, okay, where does this game... What was that? Oh. Chatter's tail. I sit here and I look at Animal Crossing, and I think that everything was in here that needed to be in here, and everything else we're seeing is going to be extra, and it also excites me that we're seeing extra. Again, it's something that I really hope we end up seeing a lot more of out of other developers. I'd love to see developers do that, because if you can... again, it's that issue of... it's that issue of developers don't work for free, right? They need to earn money on whatever it is that they do. And that's fair. That's got to be fair. We have to, as consumers, understand that. And that the stuff that we consume here, for the most part, isn't free. Like, you got to pay for it in some way or another. You got to, a lot of people bitch and moan about YouTube ads. Which, and Twitch ads. And you know what? I get it. I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of Twitch. That's kind of what I have on whenever I'm whenever I'm not doing anything. I was just watching someone play Twitch while I was working, while I was having lunch, and there were ads that I watched there too. But we're not paying anything for this entertainment. And if you very much think of what life was like before the advent of YouTube or Twitch, when we were talking about specifically just cable television, just sitting here and just watching, whatever the cable channel you happen to watch was, be it, a sitcom or the news, the Weather Channel, or anything that is entertaining to watch, you didn't get it for free. I mean, yes, if you had an antenna, you might get stuff, but generally the stuff that you got for free was not as good as the stuff you got. A Zen-style stone. Oh, I like it. Yes, please, give me whatever it is. Yes, you can get you could get the UHF, the UHF channels. Oh, why did I leave? I need to give him something. You get the UHF channels. You can get the stuff on the aerial. But generally, you actually paid for what you got. And if you did get it for free, typically the stuff that you got for free was not as good as the stuff you paid for. But you paid for it in some way. You paid for the antenna. You paid for it in not as good signal or not as good content. Or if you watch something like Twitch or YouTube, you pay for this stuff by watching paid-for advertisements. What do I got for you? Here, have a plant. It is really an anthurium plant, yes. It is extra special. I'm glad you like it. Moving on. So I think that there's definitely something to be said for, paying for something in some small way. And the developers do need to eat somehow. Like, they do need to actually get money for their efforts. So paying for DLC is decent, but also if you can get the money back, you know, by way of buying the game, if they can make the money. Hey, what's up? Everybody has grody days, but you're never ready for your turn. I should have bought medicine. Okay. How do I make medicine? I think medicine is, under tools? No. Miscellaneous? Also, where's this? Oh, I haven't used it yet. Okay. That's not medicine. Other. Medicine. We're gonna go make some medicine. I'll be right back. You know, I remember working in GameStop, and you know, people always bring up how much a video game costs. Man, that's $60. That's a ripoff. And completely, you know, not understanding that at store level we pay $55. We sell a game for $60. We're making $5 per disc. And, you know, they bring up that a disc costs like $1 or something like that, and the packaging costs maybe another $1, so there should be all this money elsewhere. And that money goes to stuff like advertising costs, it goes to development, it goes to shipping, it goes to, you know, marketing. The money goes to a lot of places. Eventually, it will trickle its way down to the developers. But the more money, the more, you know, copies that sell, the more the developers are actually making. Oh, hey, I actually have some money. Or medicine. I have money too, but I have medicine. So the hope is that when they do this free content, it is pushing sales to a point that they are actually making money that's getting back down to them. So I think there's, at some point, yes, an argument to be made that, hey, you know, some of this content should be free, but also we got to make sure that if they are giving us free content, that they are still actually making, you know, a living wage, or still making money for their efforts. Because you hear stories out of, you know, video game development hell, where we hear that these poor developers, you know, are sitting here, especially at crunch time, at you know, leading up to needing to have the product ready for shipping. You know, these poor developers are sitting there for doing 80-hour weeks on salary, so they're not making any extra money, just to get these games out on time. Very, very stressful working conditions in general, not to mention anything else that might be going on. So, you know, we know the developers are already having a hard time. So we got to make sure that they're at least making something. So it definitely is understandable that some stuff has to be paid for, and that's okay, cool. But we as consumers also, instead of being, you know, why was this not available at launch, we should also be somewhat grateful, I think, when we do get something for free, because, again, we are getting something for free, and it's not often that you get something as quality as what looks like we're going to be getting tomorrow for free. I really am annoyed that you sat back down, because I would have really liked to have talked to you. So really, really meandering conversation from me today about the nature of DLC. And honestly, you listen to all of this, and you're like, okay, Nye, what do you actually think? Like, where do you actually sit on DLC? And the answer is, it depends on the DLC that we're talking about, honestly. It really does. As much as I would love to sit here and tell you that, you know, all DLC is good or all DLC is evil, paid otherwise, it really depends on what you're getting. I mean, it really, really does. Different stuff is worth more than others. Here's some medicine. Yay! She's feeling better. Recoms play video games. Great idea. Ooh, give me a bathrobe. Nice. I don't think we have that yet. If you ever get full of grody, you just let me know. I wonder if we actually can get sick. Okay, I don't think she's gonna say anything else. Let's leave and come back in and see if she'll actually allow me to give her a gift. But yeah, honestly, in my opinion, it depends on what the DLC is. As long as the game is feature complete, I don't mind DLC paid or otherwise. If the DLC was just going to be a visual thing... Oh, cool. There we go. Have a thing. What am I going to give you? A business suit coat. Yep, a business suit coat. Hey, you look good. The colors are perfect. Oh, I get another stellar jumpsuit. Yay. But yeah, if DLC could be restricted to only being visual updates for content, and everything else, playable and mechanic-wise, was free, that would be my ideal. Like, I think that would be the ideal way for the consumer to get bang for their buck. But it also doesn't make sense in most contexts. That makes sense for something like League of Legends, or for Overwatch, games that you're playing on an ongoing way. Unfortunately, it very much does not make sense for something like Animal Crossing. It just doesn't really make sense for us. Yes, we could buy, like, furniture packs or something like that, the way, like, The Sims does. But honestly, I don't think it makes much sense for this sort of game. So if a game is feature complete, if it is a full game in and of itself, and what you are adding is an expansion. So let's use the PC term, and I mean PC is not like politically correct. I mean personal computer term. We're talking something like the old StarCraft expansions, like Brood War. We're talking about stuff like that, where you're adding entire new systems, entire new ways to play the game, entire new features that would not be expected to be part of the original release. So, new races, new buildings, new tools. Again, we're talking very specifically new stuff that would not be expected to be part of the original game. If that's what you're releasing, by all means, sell it. But again, it needs to be these entire things. If what you're selling is, hey, if you pay $10 more, your tools won't break, that's ridiculous, and you wouldn't want that. Thankfully, I don't really see a lot of situations in the gaming market where something like that happens. I have seen some egregious DLC in the past, but I haven't seen like that. I think actually one of my favorite DLCs I've seen recently, just in terms of I like the fact that this is DLC, is actually for Deep Rock Galactic. It's a purely cosmetic DLC. It allows you to get your equipment is in gold. You get a special when you buy a certain beer, your beer comes in a special mug. So it's really a visual thing. But the entire idea is it is a supporters pack, and when you're buying it, the money's going directly to the developers and just saying thank you. It doesn't have any gameplay thing whatsoever, but it's just saying hey, developers, thank you for making your game. We love it. And I think those are always awesome. The developers get to put in a small little thing that you get distinguished as being someone who, put money specifically forward to give something to the developers, and then you get something really cool. They get a little bit of extra bits of your money. I do like that idea. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's still just DLC. We're not talking about something that is unique or special. It's not this isn't a brand new idea. It's just DLC. It is literally just an extra couple of skins. But I like the idea that the purpose behind those skins are, I'm a supporter of this video game. I'm not, and this has been my TED Talk on DLC in video games. Yeah, I am kind of curious how you guys feel. I know that DLC is a very, very controversial topic in video games. A lot of people just seriously do not like it. Oh, okay. It's like a shrine. Okay. I can make one of those. Costs a lot of stone, though. But I definitely think that there's a place for it. But I know a lot of people, as I said, it's a very controversial topic. A lot of people really hate the concept of DLC, and they think that it shouldn't exist. It's not something that we should ever see in video games. That every video game should have either everything in it already, or by the time that, or when DLC is released, it should be free because you already paid for your content. And honestly, that brings me up to another topic that I may be able to cover in 15 minutes. And the topic is literally just entitlement. And I don't say that in a bad way. And I think there's a problem with the word entitlement in you know, today's society, and that entitlement is it's a negative word, you know, it's a, oh, hey, CJ's here. Okay. I'll have to go, work with him a little bit later on. But, you know, people use the word entitlement with a negative connotation. It's, oh, crap, there was a balloon. Oh, well. But they use entitlement with a negative connotation. They, you know, you are, if you're entitled something, or at least according to the current connotation of the word, again, it's a negative thing. It's, you are asking for something, you know, above and beyond what you're due. Whereas I believe entitlement, the original connotation of entitlement is literally, you deserve these things because of this. You know, you are a lord, you're a duke, you are entitled to this much land. You are entitled to this many, this much money per, what's up, B? Would I be willing to buy a pot rack? I guess. It's a little bit too much. I can do 3,000 bells. I'll buy it. Yep, I need that for my kitchen. Thanks, B. But there's a certain brand of people out there who feel entitled in a bad way. They feel that they put money towards something, they paid for something, and therefore they don't just get the product, but they own, you know, to put it in a kind of cute way, they own the means of production, I guess, is the word I want to use here. And, you know, that's just, it's not the case. You know, when you pay for something, you get the thing. And that's all you get. You don't get anything related to the thing. You don't own the people who do the thing. You know, these are the folks I'm talking about, in case you're curious, in case if you're wondering, am I one of those people? And chances are you're not, so don't be necessarily worried about that. But the people I'm talking about are the people who, you know, they pay their taxes, therefore, they own the police officer and should never be fined. You know, they should never get a, okay. They own the police officer, and therefore they should never get a traffic ticket. You know, that's the entitlement that I am talking about here. And there's a lot of people, you know, you buy the video game, you deserve every release that comes out for it for free. You buy the car, and the car should work perfectly forever, and all of your repairs should be free. And there is a certain level, I believe, of correctness. Okay, Boone, can you get off your baboon butt so I can talk to you and give you a gift, please? You've been sitting here for the past 45 minutes. Boone. Damn. I think Boone's actually the only person I have not given something to yet today. But there is a... Oh, I thought you guys were talking to each other. I want to listen to the conversation. But there is a certain level of, I believe, validity to... Hey, someone's actually using the chairs the way they should be used. Nice. I think there is a certain level of validity to the concept that I spent money on something, therefore I deserve a certain level of return on that. So I definitely feel that way. If you buy a product, at the very least, the product should work the way you expected it to, the way it was advertised. And, you know, I believe there should be a certain level of warranty on the product that says that the person who made the product, whoever that is, certifies the product's going to work, that the materials were good, the work is good. There's a certain level of stuff like that. And, you know, I really, personally, I think that if you buy a product and the next product is due to come out momentarily, that's going to be an upgrade on that one, there should be some sort of roll-up that you can do without paying too much more. Because, honestly, if I buy something today and tomorrow the new one comes out for $10 more, I'm going to be really pissed. I feel as if you should have told that to me and made that clear so that way, you know, I would have known. Because it's... I think we already had it by info partition, yeah. Because, let's be fair. As a consumer, I'm not always up to date on every item that's coming out around the world. You know, I don't know every different type of, you know, production, things like that. I'm not familiar with all that. So there, not really good expectation for me to know all of this stuff. So I think that there's a certain expectation of that. But there's things I should not have, I'm not entitled to. I'm not entitled to call the developer up and say, hey, you know, your product is not working the way that I want it to. Fix it. You know, I might be entitled to call the customer service hotline, but not the developer, you know? That's beyond what I deserve when I paid for it. Unless I paid to talk to the developer, in which case, okay, fine. But that's beyond. So I think there's a certain level that people should understand. And I think, you know, I see that in a lot of places. I see it in, like, you know... I see it in, you know, a lot of places right now, actually, because of the whole COVID thing. Customer service lines are taking longer than ever to respond to things because they're literally short-staffed. There's a lot of people at home using stuff they wouldn't have been using before. There's a lot more people calling in because they need help. And then in addition to that, when you, beyond thinking about there's a lot more people calling, a lot of people can't get into work. They want less people to be there at work, talking to each other, spreading the virus, things like that. So there's less people actually in the building, which is understandable. That's the way it should be. We're trying to stop this thing from spreading. So I think that, you know, while it's frustrating that, oh my god, there's not someone to talk to me right now, it's also understandable that there's not someone to talk to you right now. There's a reason that there's not someone to talk to you right now. And it's not, you don't necessarily deserve someone right now. I see it a lot. I've been hearing it a lot recently. Ooh, the Steampunk Goggles are here. I've seen it a lot recently and heard it a lot recently. Ooh, look at this pattern. Please tell me you have that pattern that you're giving me. Because that pattern that you're working on right now is hot. Yes, okay. So we're having the other sister conversation. Okay, let's go see what we're gonna buy today. I'm absolutely buying those goggles. But what else do you got for me? Okay, let's see. We already have that. I don't know if we have the fitness tank. Let's go ahead and grab one of those. Don't know if we had a long plaid skirt. Pretty certain that we've had the Hakama. I don't know about the sushi chef hat, though. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Ooh, gas mask. Nice. We'll go ahead and pick up the steampunk glasses in a minute. Semi-opaque socks. There's not a lot of shoe options in this game, I've noticed. Good thing is, this helps use all of that money I had. We still have to buy, by the way, I haven't forgotten, we still have to buy that our very last bridge ever. I think I just need some sweatpants. We don't have any sweatpants. So we had the sushi chef hat, we already did that. Let's go ahead and buy, do I like green or do I like blue? I like blue. We're gonna go with that. Man, not much to buy today, though. We've had almost all of those. Let's see, anything else in here? I'm gonna grab a judogi. Grab the white one. And a black belt. And a sushi shelf hat. Let's see, and some brow line glasses. And some more semi-opaque socks. And the blue water shoes. Might have doubles. We'll take care of them later, and we'll give them to animals later on. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to entitlement, it's just my hope that you guys aren't. That's just how I'm going to put that. My hope is that you guys do not display that level of entitlement to folks. Because I see plenty of it. It's the Karens in the world. You know, we make that joke a lot. And you know what? I do apologize to anybody named Karen who hears me say that. I use it in the same jovial way that I make fun of the name Chad. Because we have used those, you know, we have used those names. We have used that setup in a way to define a very specific personality type. personality archetype, we're not necessarily talking about you guys. We're very much talking about this personality type. But, I didn't get the stellar jumpsuit from you. I don't know what you're talking about, Boone. There's definitely those people in the world who they think they're entitled to some level of something or other. That they should get their refund 70 days out of return policy. That they dropped it, therefore it should be replaced. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are the people that have problems. And you know what? It's ridiculous. It really is. You gotta temper your expectations because there's some things you simply don't pay for. And yes, there are times that it should have been told to you that you don't pay for them. There are certainly situations where actually we need 2 bridges. I forgot. We gotta replace the wood bridge we already have. But, there are absolutely times where people are they feel like they should be entitled to something and they very much aren't. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's the only point. That is the sum total of all I have to say about that. I just want to bring that up for those of you who ever have those feelings. Please temper your expectations. And I say this as a person who used to, I used to work as a salesperson. I used to work pizza delivery. I've worked customer service for a very long period of time. And I've dealt with the receiving end of that behavior, and it's upsetting. We get upset. You think you're upset. We're upset because you're taking it out on us, and we have nothing to do with it. And nowadays, I still work customer service now as part of my current job, but it's not the same thing. But, nowadays, as the consumer, I go out of my way to try to make people's lives easy, and I go and see, okay, what do I actually deserve? Because I want to make sure I know what my consumer rights are, but also I need to know where the end of my rights are. And I will say, hey, can I get a refund on this? Can I make an adjustment on this? I'll ask. If you tell me no, it's outside of policy, I'm going to go, cool. I just want to check. And that was really all it was there for. So if you're one of those people and you find yourself acting like that a lot, please double check yourself. Please think about it for a second. Please take a moment, take a deep breath, relax, and ask yourself, why do I feel as if I deserve this? Do you feel as if you deserve this because you bought it, you spent money on it? Do you feel that it is something that is owed to you? And then, especially if it's one of those 2 reasons, double check and think and go, would I give this to someone if it was me? Would I give my money to them? Because that's what you're asking for. You're asking them to give you free money, effectively. Would I do that? If someone told me I broke, I know you gave this present to me, I broke it, I want you to give me a new one. How would you feel about that? And these are things I want you to think about, because at the end of the day, you're probably upsetting some person there. You're probably, let's be fair, looking like a dweeb to all the people in line behind you. You're looking like an idiot. So I'm trying to save you some, I'm actually trying to save you some personal grief, because I promise you, you look like an idiot. You sound like an idiot online too. I'm gonna let you know that. You sound bad online as well when you complain about it. But, I want to save you some time. I want to save them some time. I want everybody to be a little bit happier. Put a little more happiness in the world. Be grateful that you have something as opposed to feel entitled that you don't. But it's just something to think about. That's the long and short of it. I want you to think about that. Okay, guys. We have reached the end of our time together today, as is usual, at about the 1 hour mark. We talked about a bunch of things today. Let me know, as usual, what you guys think. So really, don't lie to me. So, when we're talking about, DLC, I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys into DLC? Is it something that you find to be okay? Does it piss you off? What type of DLC are you willing to pay for? That's something I really love to know. As a person who, you know, I buy some DLC and not others. There's a lot of stuff that I do not end up spending money on when it comes to DLC. So I would be kind of curious, what DLC do you guys pay for? What would you be willing to pay for? You know, what would be okay to you? Let me know. And then also, you know, talk about entitlement. I don't really want you guys to out yourselves. So if you're that entitled person, if that is you, again, I want you to think about what you've done, and I want you to potentially look into, you know, rectifying your mistake. But you know what? I'm gonna try not to shame you. I don't want to shame you. I don't want you to feel bad about it. Really, that's not the goal here. You know, I'm seeking to help you and help someone else. But, you know, let me know about the people that you've seen. Let me know what your thoughts are. You know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, I'm man enough to admit that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are entitled to it. Maybe I'm just coming at this from a different direction. Let me know. I'm kind of curious. And as always, if there's anything else that you guys want me to talk about in the future, please let me know in the comments. And I'm gonna start trying to ask for this, because I really should have been asking this for the past couple of years. It's one of the reasons why you're starting to see the video recommendations pop up at the end of my videos. But do please leave a like and subscribe if you can. It does help me a lot. It gets more people to see these videos, which both lets me bring more happiness to people, and then you guys watching those ads actually does help out. I get a little bit of money every so often, and that literally pays for games for me to play to do more stuff for you guys. So let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.